Welcome back, Generals, to another Let's Fix Generals 0 Hour to make the best game ever. Good, where are we? There was one thought I had regarding author Helmut. So here's this one fix here. This here. After thinking about this some more, I think here's what we can do. Make a hybrid of what? Build a hybrid for what? Build a hybrid. EA hybrids of overrides and overrides, where we make backups of all initial loaded ini systems and keep them in memory. Then overwrite the used copy, keep them in memory. Then overwrite the used any systems when loading into a map, and then restoring the backup, restoring the any systems from the backup before the next level load. This way, the pristine ini state is restored from memory on each level load, and the map can override it any way it wants. This guarantees mismatch free. This strategy is the least. It's not intrusive. It's not intrusive into the various any systems, and only requires some backup manager class that deals with the storage and resets, and that deals with the storage and recovery and recovery of the backups. Deals with the recovery from the backups. There's a recovery of any systems. ideally all any load stuff exists in this. All initial any load stuff also exists in this manager class, so that all these responsibilities are closely tied together. This approach would guarantee a mismatch, guarantee no mistakes from loading yeah, I mean, that's kind of obvious. Now the only issue, but then maybe this doesn't work either, because well, there's a problem with this approach, and that is, what if one system holds a pointer to another system? Then that wouldn't work. But there's also a problem with this approach. If one of the any systems holds pointers to other any systems, then it cannot be copied easily. But perhaps any systems are perfectly isolated, so that this is not a problem. But also is a problem with this approach. One of the any system holds pointers to other any systems. This would need checking first. Okay. Good. Then let me see if there's something I need to update here from my side. No. This one still needs merging. Yeah. Okay, this one can be merged. With const cars for calling this one. Let me look at this one more time. Mutable. Const is mutable. Yeah, I think this is fine. Remove const cars for calling. Good, and we can merge that. Oh, I don't know why that is empty now. Effector. Delete. And this one has closed this one. Okay, great. Good. Then review approved. Let's see what else we have there. These ones here, I will hold off on these for now because we're currently in the process of merging some of the source files. I don't want conflicts there right now. Modifications. Replace unqualified min with inline. Okay, what is this here? I'll just download the files here. What? Right. Retry device reset with increasing delay to handle transient synchronization failures. What? This looks like this comment here doesn't ring any bells. Let me search for this. Retry device reset. Let's see. That exists. Retry device reset. Retry device reset. Doesn't exist. No. I have no idea. This code does not exist in our code base. This code does not exist in our code case. I do not know who created that comment, but it was not us. If you get the code from us, then you will not find that there. it is not from us. Yeah, I have no idea what this guy is doing. He's clearly using some code that is not ours. There is a comment, the super hackers, but it's not from us. I don't know who wrote this. I don't care. It's not from us, so I don't care. Good. Good. So next I wanted to maybe we do one code review. Let's see what we can review. Author. Better alternative. Factor min max templates define. If def define. Max templates defined. If def min undef min. Min max. Okay. Okay, that looks good to me. This one should be fix base type add min max templates to base type .h fix gen zh looks good. Merge finalize and merge after moving base type .h to core. To do rebase on main of the base type .h is in core. Then we can close this one. I assume this is 100%. This is AI generated code. Drafts are generally not looked at. contexts are typically not looked at. Okay, I still need a review on this one. Need review on that. Needs need a review, not new needs. Good. Then next, I would like to go to here. Then we can delete this one here. Yeah. Let's do a remote fetch and prune. Good, then we can delete this guy. And then, good, so I wanted to open a unify system systems unify common systems, common files, at least some of them. Rename. Oh my gosh. Good, so this guy, and we take merge correct common and related code. We already merged this one. Yeah, we merged these four. Then now we take this guy and we do let me also say where we're merging files, I noticed that some merging files, merging new source files, I noticed that some of them have spelling fixes only in one of the games. I think when you apply spelling fixes, you need to ensure that they apply it consistently in both games. Otherwise we deviate the contents. Um, John user while we're looking at some of your CMake at one of your CMake edits for min GW. That's for me min GW. I noticed that the comments are not exactly the same. I assume AI generated slightly different texts across code bases, slightly different texts, the different code bases, different not exactly the same across generals and generals MD. I assume this comes from AI generation, creating slightly different variations at random. Try to avoid this when possible, to minimize the diff between the files, between the games. To minimize the diff between the games. Maybe I should word this line here a bit nicer. When applying spelling fixes, try to ensure spelling fixes. Try to ensure. Because the wording, like if I say you need to ensure this demanding and like commanding, that's not nice wording. It's usually better to say, please try to do this, because you can always make mistakes, right? It happens. I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. But just like keep these common sources of errors in mind, and like adding differences between the games is a very common error. I've seen it many times. That we do one change to 0 hour, but we don't properly replicate it to generals, or vice versa. But it's better to keep them in sync, because then it makes merging process much easier. Yeah. Okay, so good. Then I will take now this, cherry pick this commit. Good. We don't automatically create a commit. Oh boy. What is this? Okay. Well, that's good. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so good. So the question now I have here for this one, do we want to split this maybe? So we move some systems in a yeah. I think we can move them all in one go, right? Yeah. So basically this is everything needed to move any. Everything for any. Well, everything for any so that it will work with particle editor. There. Um, well, let me unstage all of them. We could move, we could split this up. So for example, if we could first move these guys here. Yeah. So we take this and this and this. This and this. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that would be the first one. So we say unify. Unify lib move base type.h trick.h to core files to core. Ah. Yeah, this would be step number 1. And then next step we can move the rest. We still want to move this here. Stage. On stage. Okay. And then errors, game common, any snapshot. Generates challenge. Yeah, I think the rest we can do in one here. Just a bunch of files. Yeah. So there we will say unify common, move several common systems to system files to core. Move common system files to core needed for particle editor. Things out. Comment game comment. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now what we can maybe do is test that this guy works on its own. TS generals 0 hour. Let's build these two. So I need it for particle editor. Okay, so this is a follow-up for this one here. Follow-up for that. Okay, this change moves all common system files to core needed for the particle editor. Merge with rebase. It is split into 2 commits. Unify gen zh. Unify commits. Okay. Think sort, comment, get common. Okay. I think that works. Good. Then we will do a say here merge after this. Test individual commits, do compile. Let's see. That is the case. Of common system files coordinated for particle editor. Moves all common system files. It is split into 2 commits. Okay. Then let's see if that compiles. Okay. Good. Then I will wait for code review on the particle thingy. Yeah. Actually, I mean, I don't expect that there will be any changes to that. So maybe we can already do follow up on that. Yeah, we can actually. Yeah. No, we will wait until the reviews emerge. Okay. Then I thought for this session, maybe what we can do is, so there's 2 things. Either we continue with the camera stuff and split something off, or we investigate a little bit of the issues that we have on our plate that I didn't have time to look into yet, but we should. So if I go to assignees myself, yeah, I have several things assigned. Oh boy. Yeah. This one we should look into. Ghost buildings after loading a saved game. Yeah, I think we should look into that. Yeah, let's look into this guy here. It's a major issue. Okay, so this one has compiled, so that's great. Then we can mark this as done. Then what we need to do now is append this commit ID to these guys. Revert commit. There we go. Push. Done. Okay, good. Then let's go to main branch. Then so regarding this, gone. Okay, that's fine. Radar pixel color. Okay. Ghost buildings after loading a saved game. Okay, let's take a look at that. We should probably exclude generals from the project. Yes, with refactoring and runtime testing, I was going to switch to ready soon as I can't see anything else staring at it. It will help in the future anyway, separate to min GW. With any eventual move to DX9 after V6, I need to delete the temp commit as I had to use it for runtime testing. Okay, I think I will ask Omniblade to look at this first. Omniblade. Another one. Another one for your expertise. It's quite a big one, 1,500 files, so I wouldn't mind Omniblade taking a look first. Yeah. Because I would probably have 100 comments on this. Would probably take me again 10 hours to look over this review, I imagine. I don't know. We will see. Good. Yeah, so I will close this for now. Okay. Good. So reload. So let's reset generals here. Generate. So this one is compiling, yeah, okay. Does this still happen? Okay, let me see. Okay. Good, let's launch it. Let's try to reproduce the issue first to get an understanding of what triggers this and how we reproduce it. So for starters, I would say we simply create a skirmish. We remove the enemy. We just put ourselves here as a USA player. Let's take a different map. Like Tama Desert. Yeah. Let's put on there. Okay, so now let's move the dozer up here. Let's build some building here and here and here. Okay, and let's move the dozer over here. This dozer over here. Okay. Okay, but there are no enemies now. Okay, anyway, let's see what happens. So we save this. Save. Okay, then let's load it right from here. Load. And this looks fine. We probably need some enemy or so, right? Let's do... yeah, let's put in a medium or easy army. Chile. Let's do it China. Okay. So let's take some guys and put them there in the bunker. Oops, I direct the window. Okay. So there we see a war factory now. Let's take those Humvees here. Enter the premise. Crush some soldiers here. Let's scout a little bit. Harass. Yeah. Okay. That's enough. Yeah. We don't want to be too aggressive here, yeah. Okay, so let's have that, and then let's do a save. Okay, so we see a bunch of things here. Then we do a load. That looks as expected, but aha, there's the issue. See? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we see the issue here. It's interesting, just these buildings in the center. Everything else looks fine. Interesting. And yeah, okay. So what happens if we go back to menu and then load this again? Will it look the same? It does. Okay, what happens if we restart the game and then load it fresh? So these were buildings that I put soldiers inside, is that right? Load. But not this one. This one and this one. It's weird, yeah. Why just these two? Why not this one here? That's curious. Okay, so the question is, why does this happen? That's interesting. Okay. I think so. It's probably related to the Ghost Manager changes, I would imagine. So maybe what we can do is let's do filter main. Oh, that didn't work. Branches main. Yeah. So how about we go back in history to where we added those ghost object changes, which I think was sometime in September or so. Let me see. Where is it? Here. There you go. So let's go to this guy here. Check out this commit, which is a while back, a long while back. And then we compile that guy, and then we see if the same issue happens here or not. Okay, what do we have here? The change fixes an issue where subdual damage dealt by ECM tank and microwave tank and retail can continuously negatively stack if the target's heal rate is faster than the subdual's weapon damage rates. There are no cases where this happens in the retail game, but it is still a logical flaw that can be encountered through modding or custom maps. For example, a target has a subdual damage heal rate of 100 and heal amount of 200. Subdual weapon deals 100 subdual damage. Target subdual damage is now 100. Target heals 200. Now minus 100. 0 minus 200. So it needs to be capped or something? Let's see. Fix. This is 0 hour specific. It is. Okay. Okay. Subdual damage can no longer go negative. Subdual damage smaller 0 equals 0. Okay, so it just clamps it. I would say try else lamp 0. I think like this. Subdual damage cap. Yeah, I think this would be a better way to express this. Good. So we went back in history. Then so. So let's see. Let's see if this guy also has this issue. Hopefully we can load that save game. We can. Okay, the issue already exists here as well. Okay, so it's not related to our ghost object changes. Okay, that's interesting. Then, so it already happens here. Let me open a notepad. Happens with this. Okay, then let's go further down into history. Let's go beginning of September. Okay, because right now I don't know. Now I don't know which. What would be the cause here? Let's try to narrow it. But maybe it's already baked into the save file. Maybe it's already baked. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could be that it's now the issue is baked into the save file. That's possible. Yeah. Maybe. Let's see. Ghost objects. Does this have an xfer? It does. Yeah. Ghost object. Ghost object manager. Okay, there's very little stuff in here. This is something we could actually also fix here. Let me take a note here. Still happens. I have the suspicion that maybe it's baked into the file, the save file, the issue. When was the issue reported? November 29. Those buildings that have one, sometimes even more than one ghost image left after being destroyed. The same image shading used to show the building when under the fog of war. So I mean, what if I sometimes even my own buildings easier to notice with buildings that have animated models. Yeah, I could imagine that this is because stuff is baked into the file. But then, how is that happening? Where are objects saved as ghost? Object manager. Used to lock the ghost object system. Save lock. Save lock ghost object. What is this? Log creation of new ghost objects. Let's see. Okay. Log creation of new ghost objects. True. Okay. In load game. Loads the save data error. Snapshot save load. Creation of new ghost objects. Okay. Okay, so we need to take a look at how are ghost objects saved. Were they probably part of a drawable, or who's owning ghost objects? Drawable info. There we go. Pointer to ghost object. Ghost object. It's a bit surprising that this is a pointer. Add snapshot block. Chunk ghost object. Okay, it's not clear to me. Partition manager. Partition data. Temporary object used when real objects is gone. Do we have an exfer here? We don't. So this ghost object here, how's it set? Uninterrupted game, no save load involved. I've seen this issue. Okay, to me it indicates we broke something, that maybe we don't clean up the ghost objects correctly anymore. Okay, we don't find any references to this guy here. What is this? I first need to understand where exactly does the ghost object live and how is it serialized? That we need to understand. So we have trouble searching here with Visual Assist. So let's do that search. Ghost object. What the hell is that? Partition manager. So how is this assigned? Set ghost object. Get ghost object. Friend set ghost object. Okay, who's calling this? Ghost object manager is calling this. Okay. Aha, here we have an XFIR. W3D Ghost Object Manager. There we go. Okay, Ghost Object. Ghost Object already on objects. Unlock the ghost objects for loading. Okay, let's go back to main branch. Check out main. Read all ghost objects. Ghost objects themselves. So save. Read all ghost objects. So when we save, it must mean that this ghost object does actually exist, right? Otherwise we wouldn't write it out here. So it exists in our used modules. But then what I find weird is we save the file and we don't see this issue at the moment we save, and then we load the file and then suddenly the issue is visible. How's that? Like, shouldn't we be able to see the issue already before we save? That's the confusing part, right? Like, I would assume that it's just consistently broken then, no matter the save. But somehow, after load, it sets some state which is different to what it was before we saved. That's weird. Used modules. Count. X for save count. Write out object ID. So the way I understand it, The simplest repro will be to build a barracks, take some guys, and put them into this house. Okay, and then save. And then load. And then it crashed. Okay. Interesting. Okay, well now we changed the okay, that's wild. So it crashed now. On ghost object. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, too bad I updated the code already. I really would have liked now to see the proper crash. Maybe we go back again. We went to we went to this one here. I think. Let's go back again. Let's compile again. What is this? Placing down buildings should only really generate 2 types of cells, but sometimes if the conditions are right, it generates a new type of tiles called pinched cells. These cells don't behave like the other 2, just blocking path finding. The cell does not allow the player to build a construction on this exact cell, even when there is clear space for it. Okay. Pinched cell. These green cells also don't allow player to move units on this exact cells, since it would show the unable to move their cursor. If a worker or dozer is standing on these cells and you want to place down a building, it will say it is unable to do so, forcing the player to move the worker off these cells in order for the player to place down the scaffold. I see. Okay. Yeah, I would say it's a minor bug. Okay. So let's test this one more time. It's interesting that there's a crash. So this crash was from before we touched ghost objects. Yeah. So I wonder if the ghost object caused some crash originally we made changes to the ghost object. Now it no longer crashes, but it produces some odd issues. Maybe that's what's happening here. So at least it's an improvement then. Yeah, if it's no longer crashing. But let's make sure that this is actually correct. Let's see. Yeah. So this should be the same code that we had generated the save file with. Yeah. The last one. Load game. This one. Huh. It has the same issue. It has the same issue. Okay. So this was created. Wow, okay. Oh. Huh. Okay, well, in that case, let's go down further in history. Let's go back. Oh boy. So let's say here happens with this. Then let's go to begin of July, okay? That's quite a jump. Check out this commit. Mm-hmm. 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 Good. This one is completed. Let's take a look at this guy here. Builders now resume their task after having been disabled. This change fixes an issue where builders do not resume a construction or repair task after being disabled. This dozer is left idle after being disabled. Right. Okay. Okay, let's see. Those are task info. Invalid. Okay. Task invalid. Those are task info, yeah. This is not necessary. This is not necessary. This line is not necessary in the constructor. It is automatically. It's not explicitly necessary in the constructor. It is automatic code. Construction. Okay. Previous task. Okay. It invalidates. Internal task conflict. Okay. 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 Previous task. Same here. Same. I should say multiple times in this change. Okay. Okay. Does indeed. This can be compiled. Task. No, I think it's just makes it more complicated. Okay, it seems like it makes sense. Yeah. Resume previous task. Resume previous task. To resume the previous task. Resume previous task. Internal cancel task. Cannot assert and then not handle the damn error. I agree. I disagree with that. Assert is there to verify a state that it's not supposed to happen. So it deserves to crash. At least for... well... Okay, it's interesting that here he set the previous task to this, even if he cancels it. Yeah, I guess it's fine. It's probably not needed. Actually, no, it is needed. Yeah, right. It saves. Yeah. You cancel the task because it's disabled, and then you save it. Okay, no, that's necessary. Yeah. Okay. And then it is complete, and then it's being reset. Okay. Okay, I think it looks good. Yeah. I think it makes sense. Here, prefer put functions above variables and classes and structs. Okay. Can put oh boy. Can put this in next line so that on the next appending this line does not need to be edited. Next, not time, line. Next line. Okay, but otherwise I think it looks fine. Looks good. Just a few minor things that could be a few minor style things that could be improved. Minor things that could be improved. Mm-hmm. Okay, this one was resolved. Mm-hmm. Good. Then let's get back to code here. One failed. Okay, what has failed? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that has succeeded. Okay, let's test that. Maybe this issue always existed, but I can't remember that this would happen in the original game. Well, we can test it in the original game. To make sure. Okay, so load game. Okay, it's also here. Let's create a new save file. So solo skirmish. Okay, I take these guys, put them into the house. Okay, then we do a save. So this is now 1st July. Then we load it. Crash. Well, that's interesting. Huh. Huh. Dang. That's wild. The core stack is totally corrupt. Huh. Dang. Okay. Well, that's not good. Yeah, it looks like this one is not valid. Pointer? Oh, it would be interesting to know who's calling this thing. Ah, shit. X for real. Huh. Mm-hmm. Who's creating this guy? X for Quad 3D. Who's calling this? Oh, a bunch of systems. Okay. Yeah, so I suspect that it's called on something that is garbage, this function here. Okay, so there's definitely some issue. We see some mysterious crash and the issue. Okay, so if I now load the save game from scratch on a new session, does it crash then as well, or does it just create this bug? Okay, I would like to test this in retail as well, to see what happens there. Load game, load. Okay, that didn't crash, but it also has this issue. Okay, let's do the following. We launch retail game. Generals, English. This one, retail. This one is a very old issue. Modding method actually needs this hasn't been done yet. Okay. Good. So this is original game, and let's also create a skirmish. Create a file. So create this guy, 2 rocket soldiers, and then we move them in here, and then we save, and we call it retail. Then we load it. And that doesn't crash and it doesn't have this issue. Okay, that is interesting. Okay, then let's do the following. So now we have a clean save file that doesn't have this issue. Now let's do the following. We load this game. Yeah. And we load this retail save file and see if the issue comes. If the issue doesn't come, then it implies that the issue is embedded in the save file, that we have written the malformed state into the save file, which you can also then check by loading the corrupted save file in the retail game. Yeah. Okay, we slowly narrow down what the problem may be. So the expectation now is that there's no issue when we load the retail save file here. Yeah, perfect. Good. Then we kill this guy, and then we load retail game, and then we load the corrupted save file, quote unquote. Let's say load Load game. There we go. And it's corrupted. Okay, so it's in the save file. The corruption is embedded in the save file. Okay, that's interesting information. And the issue starts like very early already. Like this is well before we did any changes to Ghost Manager. Huh. Interesting. Wow. That's very interesting. Okay. So what do we want to test next? I mean, we could go further into history, but we already really quite far in history. 1st of July, this is like 4 or 5 months after release code release. It was really, really early. So that the crash is very suspicious, right? It would be nice to get like a clean core stack of the crash. Maybe that would give a hint of what is actually going wrong there. Let me, let's check out latest again. But I know before we do that, so we are currently at, where are we? We are at 1st of July, right? Here on this one. So the issue happens this here. Good. So let's go back to, where do we go back further in history? Like, I don't know. Stack buffer overflow. Here, first usable. 1st of April. Let's go to this one. Yeah. We check our first usable. And if the issue happens here as well, then it implies that maybe it's an issue that is specific to our VS 2022 build. So there's like some issue that is only revealed with new compiler and everything, and not an STL port and stuff like this. So it could be a retail issue that just happens because we're not compiling with VC6 or so, right? Yeah. Oh, we have an error. Oh boy. Well, that's not good. By the way, I want to remind you, in case you're watching, I think maybe one or two people will watch right now, ever, yeah, because of the volume of videos. There still is open the registration or application, let's say, for game design committee membership is still open. Yeah, you can apply. It's if you go a few videos back in my timeline, you will find a video for the game design committee application process, where there's a link in the description. Yeah, I see like 10, 15 videos back or so from this one. And there you can send your application if you think that you are a good game designer and you have time and passion. I think those things are very important, time and passion. Then you can apply. Yeah, I will be curious how the election will go and how the committee will actually work once it gets to work. Because applying to this endeavor is one thing, but actually committing to the work that is required is another. All right. Will be interesting. Okay, I don't know why the first compilation failed. It's like sometimes you compile and then like the first build just fails and then you need to compile a second time and then it's magically succeeds, right? Okay. Good. Then let's run this. Okay. Oh, we need to exit this first. Mm-hmm. Fatal error. Yeah. Oh boy. So many errors. What is this? First usable error. Ignore. Ignore. God damn it. Okay, so it totally falls apart here. I think we need to compile and release. No. Let's compile this again. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, I think it was a bad idea to go so far back to 1st of April. It's a monster compilation here. My gosh. Okay, what do we have here? Files. Use final override to match what object uses. Final override. Find template, get final override. Sync factory, right? Isn't there one template. Mm-hmm. Okay. Find weapon template set. I'll look at this again. Okay, so this one has now compiled. Let's install this and let's run this. So this is now the first usable Visual Studio build that we had. It should work now in release. Yeah. Okay. And then let's do our repro skirmish. There we go. Put them in here. Save. First April. And then load. Aha, that also works. And release. Okay, so okay, that's interesting. Good. Then let's say does not happen with this and release. release. Let's do a release. Release. Test it in release. Okay. Okay. Then how about we do the following? We go back to this guy here. That was 1st of July. And we also test it in release and see if it's a debug issue. Yeah. So we go here, check out this commit. Then we go here and do a generate. Let's remove debug as well. Good. So what we would like to know is if this happens now in release. Good. So reset it. Yeah. Okay. Release. Let's go. Okay, I still need a review on this guy here. It looks like no one dares to review this. Yeah. Everyone's scared of the particle. It's always weird that Git always shows unrelated files in here. That I don't understand why it's doing that. Like all these things down here, we didn't touch these files, so why does it include them into the review? Unchanged files with check annotations, preview. I didn't ask for this feature. Just don't do it. Can we disable this somehow? Disable. Unanswered. Yes, please. This feature needs to be opt-in or opt-out. Okay, maybe it's not possible. Good, so. Okay, let's run this bitch. Skirmish. Let's go. Good. So we take the dozer, we build this guy, we build some rocket men. We put them into the house. Save. Let's do 1 July release. And then we load this. No issue. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe it's an issue either with like a compilation optimization or with debug. RTS debug. Okay, let's test the following. Next we do compile time, compile optimizations. We turn these off, put that to debug, and then we test that again. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. No, yeah, start a skirmish. Okay, so now it's without RTS debug, but without compile optimization. So this is 1 July. Debug. LTS debug 0. There's no issue. Okay. Then let's do also a clean load. Let's do a clean load here. Okay, no issue. Then let's do the following. We now enable RTS debug. Here, this one, build option debug. And now it should happen again, this issue, right? Should probably close some files here. Things are slow. Close other tabs. Oh boy. Things are slow. This machine is dying. What's the time? Not responding. Oh boy. Things are extra slow today. Okay, let's compile that. Existing builder dies. Okay, let's take a look at this one again. If retail compatible with CRC, else this. I guess it's fine. No. Hmm. Looks robust. Good. Did it compile? Yes. Good. So now the expectation is that the issue happens again, which would then indicate that this issue only happens with RTS debug. Yeah, which would be very interesting. Okay, when that is the case, then we can go back to the latest and do the same test there to determine that this happens really just under this condition. Okay, this gives us some information. It narrows it a bit. So okay, put them in there. Save. To 1 July. Then we load again. And the issue doesn't happen. God damn it. Okay, well, no, our testing falls apart. Okay, that is unexpected. So if we load this one, well, but here it's broken. Okay, and now I'm extra confused. So, but we generated this file the same way we generated this. Did we not? I think we did. Exactly the same. Debug. 0 hour. Yeah. Okay, now that is suspicious. Okay, I'm none the wiser now. I'm none the wiser. Save. Load. Now it crashed again. Something is fishy here. Okay, so to me it looks like we can't really narrow the problem by doing trial and error and trying to narrow it. It doesn't work. There's something wrong here, and we don't know what it is. Something has corrupted something. It's corrupted. Okay, maybe the best chance of success is to simply debug this thing and try to figure out what is wrong. That should be possible as well. I was hoping that we could narrow it to some change that introduced it, but it seems to be some systemic issue that has been there for forever. Yeah, and it doesn't happen 100%. Something is very fishy here. Good. Then I will do the following. I will go back to latest. Check out. There we go. So we have a repro. At least it's fast. Yeah. Let's try to reproduce a crash in latest. Maybe we get a better caustic then. Okay, so these are approved. What about this one here? Okay, wait till hear this. Good. So we want to reproduce it here. The crash. Yeah. That's really a mysterious issue. Well, okay, we will find it. I'm confident we will find the problem. And then when we see it, it's probably, so obvious. Oh, of course. Now it all makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. How did we not see it from day one? Good. So. Okay, enter this building. Yeah. Save. Bitch. So this is latest. So at 25 Jan. Okay, so we have it saved, and now let's load it straight away, and let's see what happens. No crash, but it's bugged. Let's load it again. No crash. Okay, let's restart game. We'll do it again. Create another one, and we load it again. No crash. Okay, so there are no crashes here, but there's bug. Good, but we know now that this bug happens. It's a very old bug. Okay, then how about we do W3D Ghost Manager. Xfer. Ghost Object Manager. Here. Then how about we go in here, and we go in here, and we go here, and we click load. What happens? There we go. So count 0. Used modules is null. Okay, now we get the count. Count is 75. 75. Object ID. Okay, I'm not really sure what I should look for now. Okay, so objects ID. Barracks, China barracks. Okay, so it means that the house there, the civilian house, it will be part of these objects, right? That's for sure. Yeah. Could not create ghost object for object. Will this ever be hit here? Create object with no object. I don't know where to start looking for this one. So I guess the issue is not that we have a ghost object, right? Because clearly we are meant to have a ghost object, but it's not meant to be shown, right? Ghost object. Or am I mistaken? This ghost object set ghost object. Ghost object. Snapshot. Okay, who's responsible for actually drawing this? Like, yeah, we have now a ghost object, but it doesn't mean that it is shown, right? Or is it? I'm actually not sure. Does a ghost object only, is a ghost object only supposed to exist when it's actually shown, or also when, no, when we have seen, no. A ghost object is meant to be saved. No, actually, it does make sense to delete the ghost object when we have. Okay, we first need to understand. Is the ghost object supposed to be removed as soon as we clearly can see it? Is it supposed to be purged? Or is it still supposed to live on for the event that we unsee it again? um, um, okay, set objects. Addition data. Load post process. I wonder if we should maybe call some sort of refresh down here. Maybe. Update offhand objects. Maybe call this guy here. Updates offhand objects. Let me go to game util, game utility. So there we have partition manager, refresh. Here, ghost object manager, set local player index. Set local player index. This function provides ghost objects and real objects when changing players. Yeah. Add to scene. Remove from scene. need to get an understanding why the ghost object is visible. Add to scene. So it's added to the scene. Is there any other? Which places do call add to scene? Let me see. So snapshots. How about we do the following? We add a breakpoint here. We add a breakpoint here and here. So it must be called somewhere here, right? Like one of these must be responsible for adding the ghost object. All right, otherwise it wouldn't show. So let's load again and see who's calling this shit. Add to scene. There we go. Okay, so it is in the xfer function, right? Aha, it's in the xfer function. Object snapshot. Snapshot count. Aha. Snapshot. It will add all the snapshots. Okay, so it doesn't discriminate on anything. It would just go ahead and add all of them. Snapshot. Is that correct then? Is this correct? Is it allowed to do that? Okay. New shroud status. Get shroud status. You know, maybe the problem is that it wants to add the snapshot here without checking the shroud status. Look at that. Now, is it supposed to delete the... New shroud status. to scene. So here it just adds it, and here add to scene. Add the dummy render objects to scene so player sees the correct version within the fog. Yeah. Records the current state of the render object used by this parent object so we can display cache state when the player is looking at fogged objects. Should only be called when object enters the fogged state. That's fair. Okay. Snapshot. Okay, so one of two things happens. Well, is that one of there are two potential ways to fix this. Either we add the snapshot only to the scene here if the owner object is actually fogged, which is not the case, right? We are garrisoned, so we can see it, and it's not fogged, so it shouldn't be added to the scene. But then the next question is, why do we have a snapshot of this object still? Are we supposed to have a snapshot of this building, or is the snapshot supposed to be removed? That I'm not sure of. Like, why is this issue not happening with all the objects? Snapshot. How do we remove a snapshot? So here we have snapshot. Free snapshot. How about we do the following? We add a check here. Where are we? Yeah. Let's do if new shroud status. Shroud status. Status. Ghost object. How do we get the ghost object? Add to scene. Object status. Okay, right now I don't understand the relationship of this to the ghost objects. Add to scene. Add this fogged render object to the scene. Remove. Objects. Object. Create the render objects. Ghost object X for blah 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 blah. Ghost objects. Do we know the player index? Well, that's a bit of a problem. Add snapshot to the scene. Snapshot to scene. To scene. Yeah. So clearly there is a mechanism here to add snapshots and remove snapshots, yeah. But also to add a snapshot to the scene and to remove it from the scene again. Let me see the callers of remove from scene. Free snapshot removes from the scene. And this as well, right. Right. Yeah, we are not supposed to delete this. Okay, that's fair. Okay, I think I slowly understand what we need to do. I think that the xfer function here, that this one should not add to the scene. This one should just like load the data, but it should not yet make a decision about adding or removing anything. Yeah. May revert to this shit. Okay, so how about we remove this? And then we'll have a post load cost of change. Load first process. Yeah. Such roughness. Shroudness count. So exo save. Saveload. Remove parent object. Snapshot for this upload. There cannot be a regular object. We need to remove it. Ghost object manager. Get local player index. Right. Since there is a snapshot for this object, there cannot be a regular object drawable in the world. Is that true? It depends on the player. You know what? I think maybe what we are seeing is the ghost object of the other guy. You know? Yeah. Okay, I slowly start to realize what could be the issue here. Since we have multiple players, all of them will have snapshots. The AI guy does have snapshots, but we do as well. Yeah. So let's remove this here as well. Let's stop debugging. So maybe in load post process, we can say iterates through all array points. So get shroudedness. Yeah. Set. Shroudedness. Why is this so complicated here? Is this a location with any info? Let's not touch that then. Shroudedness. So I would say after we have loaded everything, we do int player index, and then we do snapshots, parent snapshots. So this is how we iterate them here. Man, this code is really complicated. So we have snapshots here, yeah. Increment count. Okay. Next snapshot. So this is how we iterate them, and then oh, it's really annoying how they implemented this. Create run object. Parent snapshots. Add to scene. Player index. Yeah. Okay, then let's go here. So so get shroud status. New shroud status. Let's just say shroud status. And it's larger equal fogged. And then we do add to scene. Player index. Add to scene. I think that's the way to go. That's it. Add to scene, and then we still need to do this one here. Remove parent object. Parent object. It's not now. So, like we did here, remove parent object. If add to scene. Let me say if add to scene, then remove parent object. Okay, this looks logical to me. Yeah. So after the loading is done, we don't show any ghost objects yet. Yeah. The XFAT doesn't do it. Instead, we now go through all players for this one ghost object. Yeah. Go through all players, we check the shroud status. If the shroud status is fogged, then we add it to scene. And if it was added to scene, then we remove the parent object. Yeah. Well, but it needs to be only for the local player, not for all players. Yeah, not for all players, just the local player. Just the local. The ghosts object manager gets local player index const int player index. Okay, let's try that. Okay, not much happening on the GitHub here. Good. So let's load straight this the save file that we have. Okay, let's put a breakpoint in. Let's put a breakpoint here. So player index 2, short status invalid. Oh, invalid. Let's put a breakpoint here. Huh. Okay, now we see no ghost objects. Okay, so okay, so that is not right either. Now it doesn't show this ghost object here, but it doesn't show the others as well. Aha. Well, that's not good. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so why does that not work? Get short status. As if this function here doesn't work for some reason. Why not? Okay, let's try this again. So partition data, invalidate shrouded status for player index, shroudedness, invalid shroud, invalid, shroudedness. Object shroud invalid. Object shroud invalid. Another possibility here is to only add to the scene down here if the index actually is a local player, like we've done here, like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we don't do a status, short status check. We just do that. Add to scene, player index. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, that could also be a solution. Yeah, we don't use a shrouded status because maybe it's not updated yet or whatever. Uh-huh. Okay, let's try that. That could work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Load game. Yeah, so now we call add to scene, but only for this player index. Okay, let's see. Blah blah. Okay, and this looks good. This looks good. Yeah. Okay. Then this is probably the issue, that we added ghost objects that belong to other players. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the issue. Now it makes sense. So let's scan here. Yeah. Then let's what's going on with this guy here? Okay, so now we have ghost objects here. Let's save again. Save. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we load. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks correct. Okay, and then I think that's a fix. It's also very logical. Well, what I said earlier, once we know what it is, then we'll be like, ah, of course, yeah. So obvious. And now when we look at this, so this is a code that was there before, and this here. So it would have added the snapshot of every player to the scene. Yeah. And then removed the parent object, the real object, only if the local player had a snapshot. Yeah. So that means that if some other player, yeah, the AI player, has a snapshot, then it would be shown here to the local player. That was the whole issue. Okay, cool. I'm very much in favor. I'm very much in favor of adding this code to down here because it's clearer separation of responsibilities. So the XOR functions are mainly responsible for serializing data, not applying it to runtime. So yeah, a clearer separation I think is nice. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I would like to, remove this. And then we take this comment here. And then we add this comment here. Then we remove this and this. And we say if there's a snapshot for this, if there is a local player snapshot for this object, There cannot be a regular object drawbar in the world. Let's just say so I goes at fix add the local player snapshot, add the local player snapshot to the scene, and then remove the regular objects. Presents. Okay, I think that's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. Okay, then let's create a new branch. This is in core, right? No, it needs to be replicated there. Okay, so we create a branch, fix ghost objects xfer. I still don't understand though, like on our testing, why we have been able to see this in older builds. It should not have been possible. I don't understand that. The testing was wild. So I would say fix I can make it bug fix. Yeah, it is a bug fix. Add the log player snapshot. Only add the local player snapshot to the word and then remove the regular. Of the regular object. Let's do it like this. Bug fix. Ghost objects. Correctly add ghosts add ghost objects to the scene correctly after loading a save game. Ghost objects to the scene correctly after loading a save game. Good. So this fixes this one. Ghost object. Are there any others? This change fixes ghost objects. Fixes from ghost objects shown after loading save game. This happens because the original xfer code adds all ghost objects to the scene, including those that do not belong to the local player. This issue does not happen in retail because in retail they didn't create snapshots for all the things. That's something we added. I wonder. Ghost objects. Debug fog memory. Because of this, this issue does not happen in retail game because it did not record snapshots for all players and was partly behind the macro, but we changed that in a previous change. Was disabled behind the macro. So let me see. I didn't mean to click that. Ghost object closed. This was this one. Fixes follow up for this to do replicate in generals labels bug major this project we enabled this functionality and we enabled this functionality with so that we can inspect all players can track the ghost objects for all players. Because it did not. Disabled. I moved the code. I moved the fix to load process. Load post process. Because that's a cleaner location for it. Correctly add local player ghost objects to the scene after loading the save. Correctly add local player ghost objects. Ghost object of local player. Add ghost objects of the local player to the scene correctly after loading a save game. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, fantastic. Then I think we are done in this session. That's all I wanted to get done, really. Then in next session, unless we get any reviews here and can advance with our unification efforts and then particle optimizations, maybe we can also look at which one is it? Did we just close issues? No, here it is. I would like to look at this issue here. The hero icons are not shown when the hero enters the tunnel. So there's some bug. This needs to be looked into. Good. Did we fix this one here? I think for the most part. Still useless. Okay, there's still some open task. Okay. Good. No, I'm happy with this one. I'm happy I found the issue. Good. Then there's another one of these. He opened this twice. Why did he record? What? Huh? Ah, no, this one is different. Never mind. 1923. Did we link it correctly? 1923. Where is it? 1923. Yeah, okay. Good. Then I will end it here. Has been almost 4 hours. Then I wish you a great day or night. Until next time. Goodbye.